All right, good morning. This is the Tuesday weekly briefing for the week of October 14th until Monday, October 20th. Looking at some of the highlights for the next week, we're still dealing with that coastal low pressure offshore today, mainly just dealing with some lingering minor coastal flooding, marine hazards, and some breezy conditions along the coast, as well as just those cloudy conditions as well, and some drizzle near the immediate coastline. But the breezy conditions do persist today with wind gusts of 25 to 35 miles per hour possible at times, a little less further inland. We are still dealing with that minor tidal flooding, expected to continue into this afternoon and evening at high tide. Coastal flood advisories are still in effect for the southern Chesapeake Bay and some of the areas surrounding the James River and the Atlantic facing beaches as well, up the eastern shore and down to the northern Outer Banks. Dry weather and sunnier weather does return, though, as we head into tomorrow and especially Thursday into the weekend. But there is at least the increasing potential of some frost, maybe away from the coast Thursday night, probably well inland across the Piedmont and some of those areas across our far northwest. From the marine side of things, we are still dealing with those gale conditions, mainly for the offshore waters, and then small crept advisory conditions just lingering through the midweek, probably through much of the week, with the lingering breezy conditions and elevated seas. With the overall weather pattern, the coastal low still lingering just offshore, but otherwise the coastal low does depart. We do see a dry cold front come down later Wednesday into Thursday, but again staying dry, but much cooler by the time we get into Thursday. And then high pressure develops Friday into the first part of the weekend before a front potentially moves across the area later in the weekend and early next week. Looking at the rainfall now, starting at today and continuing through the rest of at least through Friday, just mainly along the coast this morning into the early afternoon, diminishing by later this evening into tonight. And then again, dry conditions at least through Friday morning after we deal with the lingering rain that's currently out there. By the time we get into the weekend, the first half of the weekend stays dry, but then we do see that potential for rain later Sunday into early next week with that next cold front. Looking at back to the wind and the wind gust potential, again, staying breezy out of the north along the immediate coast, places such as Cape Charles, Corolla, Virginia Beach. Inland, not nearly as much wind, but along the coast, it does stay breezy. Wind gusts 25, 30 miles per hour, at least today, into tomorrow, into Thursday as well. And looking at just some of the forecasts for a few selected locations around the area, again, would like to point out the cooler temperatures Thursday night into Friday, some of those upper 30s, especially in places like Farmville, Louisa, Goochland, could see that frost potential. And looking at the tropical weather as well, no impacts expected to the local area for the next 7 days, but there is Tropical Storm Lorenzo out there, well out in the central Atlantic. This should just curve away from us, away from the U.S., and have no impacts at all. Looking ahead to the forecast for next week and beyond, still favoring above normal temperatures with near normal precipitation chances for this time of year. Coastal flood advisory wise, still, again, those lingering coastal flood advisories in effect for those southern bay areas and areas along the James River, as well as along and up the immediate coast as well. Not as significant as what was seen this weekend or in the past few days, but still could see up to a foot above ground level in your more vulnerable locations. And looking at the tidal flooding today versus tomorrow, today on the left, again, more minor to nuisance flooding today with improvements as we head into tomorrow. Still some areas of minor flooding possible, but the general theme is for the tides to continue to decrease. Looking at the coastal, the forecast across mainly the lower bay and the James for the tidal flooding. Still seeing some of that, again, that minor flooding at high tide later today into this evening, but improving as we head on out further. For the marine hazards, we still have that gale warning in effect for the coastal waters, and then the small craft advisory for the Chesapeake Bay. And the marine threat over the next few days still remaining elevated today, Wednesday, and Thursday, with an improvement, small improvement as we get into Friday and Saturday. Looking at the winds, again, pretty strong north winds today, near or above gale force in the coastal waters, even maybe into the mouth of the bay a little bit as well, but generally decreasing as we get through the afternoon and evening into tonight. Still staying elevated, though. We do see, near or above small craft advisory winds through much of tomorrow, and then picking back up again with that front on Thursday. Could see a few places Thursday that get close to gale force again. And for the seas as well, remaining elevated today. Really not much improvement Wednesday into Thursday. Again, comes back up a little bit Thursday with that front. And then as we get into Friday and beyond, we start to see a slow improvement in the seas.